On the fourth topic, okay, to discuss, and that is mind evolution. Okay, just pardon me. Okay, mind evolution. So what is evolution? Okay, so that's what we want to talk about, and so you understand what probably evolution is more about, and so that is just what I'm going to talk to you about today. So the first thing, like I said, the topic is mind evolution. So what is mind evolution right now? And that is what you ought to know. Yeah, let's start from there. What is mind evolution? So right now, let's define what the mind is. Then let's define what evolution is before we know what mind. So the first thing we'll start with is the mind definition. So what is the mind? According to neuroscience, the mind is the brain at work. Okay, when the brain is at work, the mind seems to exist. Okay, so the mind is something that is abstract, right? The mind functions. Okay, you see something you can call mind or you describe as mind. So that is what mind is. So mind is the brain at work. So the brain, the result of the brain at work is what creates this mind we talk about. Okay, so that is what mind is according to neuroscience. Okay, so now what is evolution? Okay, evolution has to do with changes. Okay, some total series of changes that takes place. Okay, over a long period of time. That is what evolution is. So right now, what is mind evolution? You have to pay attention closely here. Mind evolution has to do with probably the change in how the mind functions. The change in how the mind functions. The change in how the mind functions. Usually when evolution occurs, there is probably no reversal. Okay, when you have probably evolution in probably the height of something. Let's say this something was probably short, small, tall, less tall. Then over time it becomes very, very tall. When evolution like that occurs, it tends to stick. Okay, it tends to stick. It tends to be irreversible. So we can evolution is probably irreversible to some extent. So that is how it is. So mind evolution is talking about changes in the mind. Okay, sometimes for us, for humans, the mind tends to function in a particular way in some generation, in a particular generation. Then the mind changes how it functions in another generation. And when this change occurs, it tends to be irreversible. Okay, if the change can occur, it tends to be irreversible to a great extent. So that is what mind evolution is about. So right now, how did it affect our lives and everything? Now you check right now, ancient man, the man who started this life and everything, ancient man, when life started, probably you know that the population had to grow. Probably 2000 or 17th century, man was not as many as we have today, right? We're not as many, right? So what does it mean? It means probably we are from a source. Okay, that's the first thing you have to know. That the population is a proof that we are from a source, because that is a proof. Okay, we are from a source. So that's something you should understand. Now the way the brains of these people, okay, probably in the 16th century or 15th century, the way their brains function, okay, function is not how our brains function now. But now, okay, there's massive changes. Why? Because we are now adopting massive new ways we do things right now, because probably in those days, in the 12th century, about those early centuries, they were not having practices like meditation. Probably they had not been discovered, like meditation, etc. So those things, the mind to function in a particular way. Okay, so now the adoption of these new practices like meditation and self-awareness, yoga, those things now helps the mind to function in an entirely new way. So you see right now, the cause for evolution is kind of environment. Environment is the main factor when you talk about evolution. That is how it is with the mind. Okay, now this mind evolution we're talking about, where there's a constant change in how the mind functions in what it prioritizes, etc., has to do with a main factor of environment. So you can see right now the reason why there has been changes in how the brain functions. So in how the mind functions. If the mind functions, then the brain functions, right? So we can as well say the reason why there has been changes in how the brain functions as a result of the environment, different new things we are now adopting. Okay. In the early centuries there were no yoga, there were no meditation, there were no self-awareness, there were no internet, etc. So this new environment tends to change our entire brain, how it wires. Okay, so it changes everything, like it changes everything almost similarly. Okay, so that is just how it is. So that is the main cause of this mind evolution we're talking about. Okay, so at the first start of life, man was not probably as exposed as we are right now. A proof is the environment of the primitive man was not is not as developed as the present environment we have right now. So right now, what happened? If it's similar brain, then we should be stalked by what the first man was stalked with. But things have changed. Why? Because there were new adoption of we gave ourselves new environments, new attitudes, etc. This created a new mind for us, a new brain for us. So mind evolution is here to stay. You should understand these facts. It always occurs in us in generation, because each generation has what they cling to, what they adopt. Okay, that changes the brain and changes how they perceive things and everything. Okay, so mind evolution is the main reason why we have achieved this much. Okay, and in our generation. So this is it. Mind evolution must occur, must take place. So right now, how do you care for your brain? Okay, let me just give some things you have to do. These are factors that may help your mind evolve. Okay, because some people's minds are really really closed. Okay, they have not really evolved at all. So you check right now, what are the things that helped man evolve from the primitive stage or from the animal or the star stage to the current modern man? The examples of things that helped was meditation, was yoga, was reading, like curiosity, reading of books, etc. The thoughts, staying with your thoughts. Okay, the man, okay, the transition from the primitive man to the modern man was possible because the primitive man adopted new ways of doing things. Okay, so that is just how it is. They adopted new ways of doing things. So examples of the new ways they adopted, meditation, yoga, those things like that. So and it didn't just happen overnight. So if you are sitting down and say, man, your mind is going to evolve into this intelligent stage here and there, you're just wasting your time. You have to adopt these practices for your mind to actually evolve into a state where it can actually create massive things. Goodbye.